All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second hour of Copenhagen Dreaming for this week. And, well, we have a bit of a situation at the Winter Court. By all means, take it away.
So Sonny suggested we get to talk to Thomas before they drag him away.
Might as well get started.
Yes.
So if Sonny is ready to write down, I think we approach.
And there are a couple of guards, obviously, but they heard what the lady said up on the big chairs, so they don't get in the way if you want to talk to Thomas.
We would like to. With please and thank you.
Yep.
Hey there.
Hi. That's quite a job you've suddenly gotten yourself.
Well, it's quite a mess you're suddenly in.
That is putting it mildly.
Well, I'm gonna do my very best.
I'm glad to hear it. What can I help you with?
I think it would be best if we start by hearing your side of the story. What you can remember.
This is the really bizarre thing. I remember yesterday quite well. It was a perfectly ordinary day. Oh, by the way, before I start talking here, I know that right now Jasmine and Sunny and Jonas are there. What about the rest of you? Are you also catching up, or are you going to go do something else? Because then, just so I know where people are.
I'm here.
Right.
And Sonny is taking notes.
Yep. So people are basically all listening to what he has to say?
Yes.
Right, okay. And he says, well, I remember yesterday quite well. It's not as if I have any, blank spots or something where I could have done something dreadful and just not remembered it. I was at work. Boring as it usually is, but hey, someone's got to put food on the table.
When are your work hours?
8 to 4.
Jonas, glances at Sonny.
Yeah. And he says, I came home. I went home directly. I didn't have any plans. I know that it was a Friday yesterday, but, believe it or not, I'm actually not a big party goer or something, so I didn't have any plans outside of flopping down on my couch with a pizza and a bad movie. I think was pretty much the extent of my plans. And I was when I got home, and I had picked up my telephone to order the aforementioned pizza. Suddenly there's somebody knocking on my door.
Mm-hmm.
So I go out and I open it, and there's Julian. And I mean, sure, I see him now and again because we all do, but he's not someone who's kind of hanging out at my place. Quite apart from the fact that he was constantly flirting, I don't think we were that compatible. And so he's looking very distraught. He looked frightened. And he said that somebody was after him. And if he could please come in because he would be safe if I was there. And you can see when he says that, you can see the look on Thomas's face is pained because this affects him. He says he felt frightened, and he asked if he could come in, and I said, sure, please, come in. And he said that it wouldn't be for very long because he had called some other friends and told them that he would, go to my place. And basically he said that he just needed to stay until they came and picked him up and took him to safety. And I remember saying, sure, no problem. What's, who's after you? I asked him who was after him. And he was so distraught that he didn't want to talk about it right then and there. I got the impression that it was something terrifying. Not just something nasty or someone he didn't like, but something that really frightened him. And I asked if he wanted something to drink or, anything. And he said he wouldn't, he wouldn't mind something cold to drink. So I went into the kitchen to get him a drink from the fridge. And when I get back into the living room, I can't have been gone for more than 2 minutes. And when I get into the living room, he's dead on the floor with a dagger in his chest. And it's driven into him. I mean, he was all but nailed to the floor with this thing. And I couldn't pick it up because it was cold iron. I mean, even being in the same room as that thing hurt. And so I'm standing there with his blood on my hands and all over me because I tried to get... I mean, what do you do in a situation like that? You suddenly have someone dead on your floor. You reach down, you try to shake them, you try to make... Even though it was obvious that he was dead, I wanted to make sure he was dead. And then the next thing I know, there are people coming through my door.
Who?
Well, Reinhard first and foremost. But then again, he and Julian have sort of been a thing for a while. So I wasn't surprised to see him there.
Was he the one Julian had called?
Apparently, that's at least what Reinhard said, but he was furious, obviously. I mean, bloody hell, if it hadn't been for the others, they would have struck him down. Or that he would have struck me down, rather, where I stood. He would have... They came armed. They had been told by Julian that he was frightened. They came armed.
I see.
I told them I hadn't done it. I know how it looks. I'm perfectly aware of how it looks. But I didn't do it. They said, after I'd been taken here, they had someone check the place thoroughly with Kronos to make sure that, just to make sure that, yeah. They say that it shows that I did it, but I was in the kitchen. I had a bottle in my hand when I went back into the living room.
Do you know who they had checked the place with, Kronos?
No, but I'm pretty sure Reinhard would know if you get a hold of him. Just be aware that he's probably really angry. Because he still thinks I did it.
Yeah. We'll get to him.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys are looking into this. I'd really rather not have my head taken off with a cold iron blade if it's all the same to you.
Yeah, I prefer that not happening either.
You look better with a head. Sunny mutters as he's noting down.
So, I'm gonna need your best estimate for times when these things happen.
course.
Let's start with when did you get home?
I was home. I mean, I looked at the phone when I was about to call for the pizza, and it was 20 to 5 when I called, or was about to call, as I said. So when I had the phone in my hand, it was 20 to 5. And that means that Julian must have died something like 4:45.
It was only 5 minutes.
He came in and he said that he was frightened. I asked him if he, wanted something to drink while he looked like he'd been running. I thought he might be thirsty. I should never have left him alone for even a moment.
Should have, could have, would have.
Yeah, I know.
Considering
With the house we got, isn't it possible that someone else has actually changed their appearance to yours and done it?
Sorry, what?
The powers we got as Faye, isn't it possible that someone else has taken Thomas's looks and done it?
That is possible, yes, but then wouldn't they have also had to know exactly what clothes I was wearing to to duplicate it completely?
Well, isn't it just a matter of looking through your windows or seeing you outside?
Well, I live on the 3rd floor, so looking in through the windows is a little more difficult. But yeah, seeing me outside, that I suppose that would work. So if somebody has been...
If someone knows him
place.
well enough, they
Yeah.
will know that he will come to you seeking guidance, which means they just have to scare him enough and stand outside your door and waiting for you to see what you're looking like, and then wait for him to show up.
That's a really good point.
I also know for a fact that there are magics that makes you hidden from others.
Yeah,
They would have just walked in the door together with him.
that's true.
That
But
would
they
also
would-
explain that you didn't see anyone or hear anything. If Julian didn't see them either.
True, but they would have to be really powerful to do something like that.
For you to not notice anything or hear anything?
How about hypnosis? Is that something anybody of us does?
Not that I know of. I suppose it could have been done. I have to admit, he says, I have no idea. None at all. But yeah, it's true that there are powers like the ones you're describing. It's just, as I said, whoever did it would have to be really powerful.
Well, that's not out of the question, considering who they're trying to get rid of, assuming this is a setup.
Who benefits the most of you being gone?
Everyone who doesn't like us?
Yeah, but that's a pretty long list.
Yep. Pick one.
So who's at the top?
Shadow Court.
Yeah, the Shadow Court. Definitely the Shadow Court.
Thomas is one of the strongest. If he's suddenly not here anymore, well,
I have a collection at home. If you ever go there, it's
we're gonna have to check it out.
yeah. I have a collection in my training room. Because yeah, of course I have a training room. He says, and looks a little sheepish.
There's no reason to look sheepish about that.
And no, but imagine having to drag training equipment up to the 3rd floor. He says.
Yeah,
I
that won't be a problem for you.
And he says, in any case, I have a collection in there in a small box. It's redcap teeth. The only rule is I have to have knocked them out myself. They really don't like me in the Shadow Court.
So why do you have that? Is it some kind of game to you, or is it trophies from...
Trophies. I really hate the bastards. They have done so many horrible things. So I like to keep those around. Basically, they know that I keep these trophies, and it makes me scarier to them.
Thomas,
Yeah?
what about your wife?
Yeah, she doesn't know. She thinks I'm out of town with some friends.
But she is safe.
Yeah, she's safe.
How exactly are we going to be able to investigate your house potentially if your wife might be there?
I can... Well, she's got a job as well, obviously.
So we visit during her work hours.
Exactly. Here, he says, takes out his keys and hands them over.
Thank you.
Who here is our expert on, well, our enemies,
On the Shadow Court?
among others? Yeah.
Well, there are quite a few. I would talk to Uncle Stefan from the Summer Court. He's old enough to have seen most of these things.
Yeah, he knows quite a lot.
Right. If
Might talk to Sausage Paul as well. Not that he's an expert as such, but he knows pretty much everything that happens.
right,
Just a suggestion, anyway.
of course. We I don't have any questions right now, he says and looks to the others.
Nah, me neither.
Is there... Oh, it's me. I know it's me going mechanical and all that again, horrible as it is. Is there anything I could roll that would be relevant to the situation in regards to that?
Don't think so, really, no.
Okay, just saying.
It's more a matter of situations like this is almost always a matter of role-playing.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. But in that case, no questions sprung.
If we figure out more questions, we'll come and ask you again.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. I also think, for the sake of fairness, we probably shouldn't share theories with you unless strictly necessary.
I think that's probably right. If you do have an idea for how to handle the whole thing with my wife, if this takes much longer than a few days, I'm gonna be looking at a divorce lawyer probably.
Oh, right. On that, who cleaned up the entire apartment so she didn't come home to a bloody mess?
The other Kithane.
Oh, good.
Do you know specifically who?
I don't know who exactly, but again, I'm fairly certain that Reinhard would know. He was the one who took care of the whole thing.
Right. Then I imagine we have an angry she to talk to.
Probably a good idea. Good luck, guys. I mean it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to have a look with Cronus myself.
Of course.
Yeah. When are your wife's working hours?
Same as mine. 8 to 4.
So if we come around by around noon, she's guaranteed not to be there.
The problem is that it's, as I said yesterday, was Friday, so she's, like everyone else, she's on weekend now.
Right. So
Why was she late that day?
You mean late coming home?
Yeah.
That's a good
If she has
question.
same work hours as you,
That's a good
why wasn't
question.
she?
I don't know. To be honest with you, sometimes it takes her a little longer to get home. Somebody might have kept her at work for a little while. I don't know.
And maybe it was on purpose. Anyway.
So basically, you mean somebody would have basically tried to keep my wife out of the way by keeping her at work?
I'm not saying anything, sorry. Just pondering right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll try our best, but we might eventually have to talk to her as well.
Of course.
We'll try to keep it vague.
Yeah.
Maybe Felicia can arrange something like you guys going on a trip or something as a cover.
That might be a good idea.
What does Thomas work with?
He I can't remember if I actually wrote it.
No, you didn't.
No, he works in construction.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
You know, when you can take a 50-kilo bag of cement
Yeah,
lug
on
it
your
over
own and just drag
Yeah.
it.
and just put it over your shoulder, it's kind of, you know, he's got some qualifications there.
It's useful. It's certainly useful. Does he work a lot in other countries and other parts of the
No,
country too? Okay, so mostly around here.
indeed.
Okay.
Right. We should go to Reinhard.
Yep,
Do you have space for more notes?
of course. I carry several sketch pads. I can write 5 books if I wanted to.
Good, good. Yeah, then I think we take our leave.
Yep.
And then, assuming he's nearby, we try to find Reinhard.
He is in fact present. He most certainly is present at court for this whole thing.
He's the other thundercloud in the room.
Well, now that the situation is I wouldn't say resolved, but where you guys have been told to look into it and so on, and the actual court proceedings are over, he looks like he's about to leave, but you can see him. It's kind of hard to miss him.
Oh, why not? Flail!
Flail.
Flailing an arm overhead.
Can we have a moment of your time?
Of course.
I'm certain you already know what about.
I was here. I heard that you're going to try to prove the troll's innocence like everyone else heard.
We're just going to try and prove conclusively what happened.
All right.
It would be nice knowing that it is the right person, without anyone saying that it can't be.
Right. Well, suffice to say that I think it was. But what do you need to know?
We would like to hear your version of events.
All right. Well, I got a phone call from Julian at around, in fact, not around, it was precisely 5 minutes past 4, where he said that he was heading to Thomas's place to stay safe and that someone was after him. And I asked him who it was that was after him. And he didn't tell me. He just said, "Come and get me." And he was frightened. I could tell that he was frightened. It was clear from his voice. I've known him long enough and well enough to be able to recognize that. And then he hung up. Then he hung up on me. And I went and I got a couple of my associates and friends to help people I know I can trust.
Who specifically?
He says, first and foremost, I got Rattigan. Who's and he says, more than that, I got Sissel Iversen. And for those who don't know who she is, she's one of the
She's
satyrs.
red.
Yeah, she's one of the satyrs. And last but not least, he said, I got Sarah. And I figured, with a puka and a satyr and a troll and a she, we would be pretty okay.
Yeah, pretty safe.
I figured we'd be okay. And so we went there. Sarah stayed down by the car because basically she wanted to keep the engine running. And I went up with Ratigan and with Cecil. We went to take a look at what was going on because, for all we know, we were just going to go up and get Julian and get down to the car and get him to safety. That was basically it. And I got there it would have been 5 to 5. And all I'm seeing when I get in there is a bloodbath with Thomas literally standing over the body of Julian, having driven a knife through him so hard that he's nailed Julian to the floor. And
Where were you when he called you? Since it took quite a while for you to arrive.
I was near Roskilde.
Okay, that's quite out. That's quite out there.
I dropped everything I had in my hands and I got on my way immediately.
Of course.
You don't know where he was when he called you.
I have no idea.
Did he sound like he was running?
He did sound like he was out of breath.
Yeah. Thomas said he was also out of breath when he got there.
Look, Julian had more stamina than most people give him credit for. I know for a fact.
Sonny can't help but smirk slightly.
Jonas has a neutral face.
But if he's been running for over an hour, he would barely have, he would have had his tongue hanging out.
And he would have been quite far away.
That too. I had Ratigan check the whole place over with all his abilities. He's
skilled.
Skilled, that's putting it mildly, yes. He said Thomas was right there. I have no reason to doubt him. Well, you have to learn how to decode what Ratigan says. He is a poker.
Sonny nuts, looking slightly tired. He has been talking with the guys for time to time.
But I know him. I've worked with him, and he's been my friend for several years. I know what it is he means when he says things. And he saw Thomas do the deed.
For the sake of clarity,
Yes.
Since the weapon was of cold iron, how would you go about wielding it?
I wouldn't. That's for damn sure. It would be...
Of course, this is just in theory.
Presumably, wielding it would have hurt quite a lot. Even if the grip, obviously, was made from wood or something. You would have been so close to the material that it would have hurt to use it. I know it hurt Ratigan when he pulled it out of the floor and discarded of the damn thing.
Does it leave marks?
You mean holding cold iron?
Mm-hmm.
Not physically, no.
But would it be detectable?
Well, the person using it would have subjected themselves to an awful amount of banality in a very short amount of time, but unless you have a way of detecting that, and I don't personally know of one.
Right.
Damn it, that would have helped.
It would have.
Hmm.
I know that Cecil and Ratigan they worked very hard to clean the place up and fix the floor and so on.
Yes. We'll have to talk to them as well, of course.
Of course. They've probably already left for today, though, but you might be lucky to catch one of them.
It's okay.
Anything else I can help with?
I need to confirm that you and Julian were involved.
Sometimes. When he felt like it, I guess.
How would you... Jonas looks uncomfortable. Describe the nature of the relationship.
On and off.
But intimate, close.
Yeah.
Were you friends when it was off?
Oh, yes. He was very hard to not be friends with. Very difficult to be on bad terms with Julian. Even people who disliked his antics couldn't really bring themselves to scold him because he was likable.
I sadly didn't get to speak much with him.
Well, you missed out. If you'll excuse me, I have to arrange for a funeral.
Very sorry for your loss, Reinhard.
Yeah.
Thank
My
you.
condolences. I think we'll leave the poor she alone.
Yes. So.
I'm only slightly envious of his hair. Oh my god. Oh, look at that picture!
I don't think he looks quite as smouldering as he does in that picture
He's
right now.
probably angry, but look at those luscious locks.
He's probably got grief, stress hair. You know what I mean? But anyway,
He doesn't have anything that makes him unperfect at the moment.
That's true. Okay.
Those two stories add up pretty well.
There's a few inconsistencies, but minor ones.
It might be worth pointing them out.
Thomas is convinced that Julian died at about 4:45, so
Yeah.
4:45. So 5 minutes after he got in. Reinhardt is pretty certain that he arrived to see the scene at 4:55, but I don't think that Thomas wouldn't have stood there trying to clean up Julian for 10 minutes. The way Thomas said it, it sounded like Reinhardt arrived pretty much within the same minute that he discovered Julian dead.
Is it just me, or didn't he say that he went in there 16:50? 10 minutes to 5?
Wasn't it 5 minutes, Joe?
He did say 5 minutes to 5.
Oh.
That actually leaves a lot of minutes unaccounted for.
10 minutes, and he did say that he was only out of the room about 2 minutes before he came back to find Julian murdered. He obviously didn't hear any struggle or any sign of murderer, so I know that Kronos was used to discover what they could there. Is it possible that Kronos could have also been used for the murderer to get in and do the deed?
Yeah, if you use Kronos with time correctly, you will be able to stop the time basically for yourself.
Maybe that's part of it as well.
And I think when you're strong enough, you can actually make the time go faster.
We'll have to find someone who's an expert on the different applications of magic.
There's a big thing we're not taking into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
It might not have been Cuthane who did it.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
It is also true.
There are other supernaturals in this city too. And I don't know half of what they can do.
I think perhaps it is best if we continue to gather the facts before we start applying too many theories.
Yep. I'm just saying. It's kind of dangerous assuming it's Cuthane who did it.
In fact, considering the weapon was of cold iron, pretty much anyone else would have an easier time using it.
Yep.
But right, we need to talk to more witnesses, and we need to find an expert on different kinds of Shadow Court members and different kinds of magic, both Cuthane and not.
Also, if there's a chance we can get our hands on maybe his phone, we might have a way to find out where he's been.
Actually,
Julian's or...
Julian's preferably, but Thomas's could maybe help to check out his story.
Well,
Same
if
for
we got Julian's, we can see who he called when.
Yeah, but maybe we can find some way to tap into where he's been.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's always GPS on them.
Yeah.
Unless he had a very old phone.
Chrome maps for the win.
Okay, so just to clarify, we need to acquire potentially Julian's phone. We need to speak with both Ratigan and Zitzel regarding their involvement in the aftermath. We need to find other experts in potentially other murderers, and we need to investigate the apartment.
Yes.
In any order we choose.
The last one we can't do until the weekend's over.
Unless we find a way to convince Thomas's wife to leave the place for even a couple of hours, an hour or so, to give us time.
That's not actually a problem. I can sneak in there tonight after she goes to bed. I'm good enough at breaking in that she will not notice me, and I can do the Kronos then. She doesn't have to be awake for it.
Does the Cronus mind if we wait a couple of days, or is it time sensitive?
Well, it gets harder the further out in the future we get.
Right. Because if we suddenly also have to contend with you being arrested, then...
It hasn't happened yet, and I've done this for a lot of years.
I were about to say, you're not giving him enough credit. What?
Nothing. I don't need the credit, I just need the money.
That too. But there might be other things we'd need to check than just the Kronos.
Yeah, but that sort of handles that problem. And actually, I don't need the rest of you to come break in with me. So if we split up, I thought we could do more than one thing.
We don't need to break in. We could just get the key.
We do have the key.
Exactly.
I think it's more the whole thing being.
It's still
so quiet.
considered a break-in if you go in there at night and not invited.
We are kind of invited because Thomas invited us. So we're not really breaking in, we're just not telling his wife that we're there.
Semantics.
This is hilarious.
I think Sonny just looks at Agnes. You make breaking sound very cute. How do you do that?
It's a skill. Plus, I have two brothers, and I can talk my way out of most things
I've noticed.
instantly.
Maybe you should bring her, just in case.
Yeah, sure, I'll come. I mean, I'm really good at making tea if she wakes up and is sort of startled, and I just tell her that we know Thomas, and yeah, I don't know, something.
Always tell her you forgot something here and he allowed you to come get it, but without having called her first, it sounds a little implausible.
Yeah.
Especially
one-
doing it at night.
No one can hate Agnes. If anything, she can bamboozle her long enough to leave the apartment.
Exactly. But otherwise, I'm really good at being quiet, so let's just go with her not with. I mean, like, when I don't. When it's important!
Mm-hmm.
I just have to keep my mouth shut. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Was anyone going to talk to Ratigan?
We should do that too.
Yeah, I'll
And
go
Red as
along with
well.
that one.
I
Maybe he knows
think
something about the phone.
we should probably also talk to Felicia. If nothing else, because I think she's been a cop, she might know how to best go about an investigation.
That's a good point.
Well, have anyone looked around if Sarah and Cecil have left?
I think didn't Reinhardt say that he thought they had?
Yeah, true, but did we actually look for them?
Not yet, no.
No, too busy conflabbing.
So Agnes is just gonna change the subject and say, I'm just gonna go look for one of those two lovely ladies.
Right. We should go, take someone with you to take notes.
Okay.
Or bring them here. That's preferable.
Yeah, I can do that.
Or record it with your phone.
Yeah, I can do that as well.
Oh, we should have done that from the start.
Yeah, but the scribbling seems so medieval.
What? I forgot my phone at home. So what?
It's easier thinking practically. It's easier to have it written down because you can more quickly get to the bit you want to refer back to rather than having to rewind listening through an entire audio.
Yeah, but unless Sunny is writing it down even then, you might have cues you could hear, like the break of a voice or hesitation.
True.
You can't catch that on paper. I need to watch more cop shows.
I'm not sure that they would tell it how it is, though.
So before this turns into Law and Order, Agnes, were you going fishing?
Yeah. I am.
And you're going to go look for who or what exactly, just so I'm sure.
Cecil and Sarah, who was with
Yes.
Reinhardt.
Yes.
I assume we're still at the cisterns.
Yes, you are still at the cisterns. Well, if you check outside, where for the or where you're standing now, if you just stick your head around a corner, you can see that Cecil looks like she's about to leave the place, but she's there.
Walk over to her and say, "Hey, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm with Jonas, who is supposed to do this investigation, and we just
Alright.
talked to Reinhardt, and he said that you were with him, and I was wondering if we can have a minute or two or 5 or
Of
however long.
course. Sure. No problem.
Would you mind coming with me to the others?
No. She follows along.
Cool. Hey guys, I found Sizzle.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. You had questions?
Yeah, we'd like to hear your version of events.
Well, it's pretty simple, really. I mean, I got a phone call from Reinhardt telling me to meet up with him by Thomas's flat, and I did. And the rest of the story is, well, we went up there. There's Thomas standing over. It was pretty horrible. Actually, it was really horrible.
You remember what time he called you?
The time that Reinhard called me?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 3:45.
And do you remember what time you arrived?
At Thomas's place. Yeah, we were there at 5:05. Sorry, no. Yes. Yes, it was 5 to 5.
Are you sure?
Almost.
What's the almost about then?
I hadn't checked my phone for a little while, but it was thereabout.
Ah, okay.
And you're certain that you got the call from Reinhard at 3:45, you said?
Yeah, I know because I mean, I was still at work. I had to close down the shop early.
Okay.
It wasn't a big problem. The only person who was there was perfectly willing to reschedule, but still.
So you were in Lyngby, and Reinhard wasn't asking if did you just meet up at Thomas' place? Because Reinhard said you were driving.
No, I don't own a car.
Sarah was driving.
Oh, sorry. It was Aaron. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. No, I ran there.
Oh yeah, because of course you did.
It's much easier in Copenhagen.
Yes.
Sonny nods, clubbing his hooves quicker.
Exactly. Why is something not right, or?
We're just checking all the facts.
Okay. You sound very much like a cop.
I just said I should have watched more cop shows.
Well,
Now he's trying to emulate one. It's kind of cute.
Well, at least we're on the right track if he sounds like it.
Yeah, right?
But
So it was you and who else?
Well, it was me and Rattigan and Reinhard who went up. And Sarah, who was driving the car, she stayed with the car and kept the engine running.
Because it's her car?
Yeah, it's her car.
I was just thinking, if you expected trouble, why not bring the troll?
Yeah, no, it was her car.
It's even rhyming. Suspect trouble, bring troll.
Also, she's very observant.
Yeah, she could.
Sarah might have seen if there was something going on outside.
We'll have to talk to her then.
She's got a good set of eyes on her. And a few other things, she says, and wriggles her tail.
She does. Sonny says, quietly, looking at
Is Sonny's tail fluffing about, or?
Nope.
Okay. It's good to see that Sonny's got that under control.
He's trained himself.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware that Reinhard and Julian were involved?
Yeah. They weren't exclusive, let's put it that way. She says and waggles her eyebrows.
How would you describe their relationship?
Very open.
They had no problems with sharing.
Considering that I'm one of the people they shared, no.
Oh, it's important to note.
Was there anything weird you remember? Anything that stood out during the day? Something that seemed
during
off?
the day? I mean, not until...
Not during the ride or when you showed up. Was there something that was off? Something that seemed completely wrong, other than the bloodbath?
I mean, I wasn't... as I said, I met them there, so I wasn't in the car with them, but... You know what? There is one thing.
Yeah?
If he called me at 3:45, Why did it take me until 5 minutes to 5 to get to Thomas's flat? I'm quicker than that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Reinhard mentioned that he received the phone call from Julian about his concern for safety at 5 minutes past 4.
That's
So
really weird. So he called.
We need the phones to check.
So he would have called.
This is getting weird.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
Can we have your phone?
Yes, if it helps with this, yes, you can. She hands it over.
Yeah.
If Jonas
She
checks
gives
the
you.
history,
She even gives you the. She says, "Is it okay if I just remove a couple of the more embarrassing pictures first?"
I would just need your call logs, but sure.
I'd prefer that.
She quickly, she opens the phone and goes in and basically deletes Instagram from her cell phone, and then she hands it over and gives you her code. So
saw that out of character. I know it's not entirely relevant, but I saw that meme on Facebook today saying, split ups in the 90s. Can I have my mixtapes back? Split ups today. Can you delete those photos of my asshole, please? I know.
Jonas checks the call logs.
Yes. It's actually, she's not far off. She got a phone call at, not at 3:45, but 3:40.
Okay,
So it's close.
And it is from Reinhard.
It's from Reinhard, yes.
Any other noticeable calls that I'm going to pry into her private life? But if it's like 10 calls from Julian or something like that.
No, that's the only one that has any bearing on what you've been looking into.
Alright. We're going to need the other phones as well, but thank you.
Oh, you're right.
Can I have a quick look see at that one?
Yeah.
Charlie tries to pry over Jonas' shoulders.
Sure.
I quickly run through the phone. Does she have an Endomando or some kind of fitness app?
Yeah, she does. She's got one that tracks her running.
Smart.
I'll try to check it out, maybe do a bit of hinky-dink with it to see if it has recorded anything from her running.
It has.
If it does so automatically, maybe we can get lucky here.
It has actually recorded her running yesterday. It says that she's run... Well, it's correct that she's gone from Lyngby to downtown Copenhagen, where Thomas has his flat. But she's gone in a very... Her route is not direct. She's run over 12 kilometers to get there.
Running around up and down streets?
And down streets and in circles and so on and so forth.
So someone
Sonny stares at that.
potentially screwed with her sense of direction. I mean, Jasmine will look at Cecil and say, have you looked at this before you... after you made the run at all?
I rarely look at it, actually. I mean, I downloaded it mostly for fun. Why?
I mean, unless you took the most scenic route possible to get to Thomas's apartment, I don't see how you could possibly have run in this many circles and run 12 kilometers to get there.
Charles shows her the phone.
She looks like somebody just broke her world. That clearly makes precisely no sense to her at all. She doesn't compute what she's looking at. No, I didn't. I ran direct.
No, you did not.
I believe
What's
that you...
going on here?
Did you talk to anyone of note, or perhaps someone who's a little hard to remember?
Just that last customer.
Could you describe them?
I don't think I can.
You remember the name?
No, I remember it was a man. That's all.
You
And
made a
do you have
rescheduling.
surveillance? Sorry.
I don't. It's not a. It's. I mean, it's just a hair salon. It's never seemed like it was necessary to have security cameras installed.
One can always hope.
They might be on the street, though.
Yeah. Did you make a rescheduling, you said?
Yeah, he just said that he was okay rescheduling, and then I'm sure I must have.
Could you check?
Well, not here. That would be in my books at the actual salon.
Right. When can you check?
I can go there directly. This is really weird.
Right.
Do we have a landline at the store?
Do I have what?
We have a landline at the store. A work phone.
Yeah, I do.
Then Sunny gives her his number.
Yeah.
Then you can call here if you find out what the name was,
Sure.
who it was.
Sure.
Actually, since you forgot your phone, Sunny, perhaps you should give her my number.
She can have that too.
It sounded before like you were about to say something, Astrid.
No, just laughing at Sunny giving her his number, the whole tail waggling thing.
Oh.
He's not waggling a tail.
No.
She was.
I know. It was just funny.
Shh, don't out me, Agnes.
Hardy har. Anyway, I think this is a pretty good place to take our second break, and let's try and make this one a short one, and we'll get right back to it.